Okay, so I acknowledge the messages in the chat. Nomatemba from South Africa, Florence from the UK, and uh, oh, Nomatemba is from Tembisa. Welcome. Timothy from Nigeria. Welcome. Okay, I suppose this will mean if your flag is not flying high on the screen right now, we'll make sure that you are represented. Zoe from Eastern Cape, South Africa, welcome. Okay, so I'm not going to take up too much time. William from Zambia, welcome. I'm just going to hand over to Moa. Moa will do the introductory presentation into the Lumi digital currency. Um, Priestess, ooh, okay, I am going to butcher your name, so I'll go with Y Love from Ontario, Canada. Ruben from Nigeria, welcome. So we'll do a summary presentation of the Lumi digital currency, and then we will hand over to Dr. Chong to speak on the building on ecosystems, and then we'll do a Q&A and have a couple of discussions, and as we look forward and plan for what people want to talk about in here for next week's Sunday summit. So for tonight, just quickly introducing our presenters high level. Moatludi BT from South Africa will be doing the initial presentation on the summary, and then Dr. Cheryl Chong from the State of the African Diaspora. She is the Minister of Family and Eco. So on that note, over to you, Moa.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chong, the Minister of Family and Social Economy. This is Africa's time. And the next slide tells us of a great reset opportunity as led by ECO6 under the leadership of His Royal Highness Chief Timothy McPherson, the State of the African Diaspora, led by Prime Minister Dr. Louis Georgestin, and African Kingdoms Federation under the leadership of Queen Sheba III, Her Imperial Majesty. Welcome everyone for joining us in going through this journey together. We are Africans who are building Africa together with the leadership of the diaspora, who are our brothers taken away from us by violence of slavery. And now Africa's time to unite as one is here.
Our sun. It has been burning for over 4.5 billion years, and yet it is still less than halfway through its life. Worshipped by many civilizations and religions, it is the enabler and sustainer of all life on our world. The great continent of Africa. Truly, it is the cradle of life on our planet, and today it is home to many people and cultures. Bathed in sunlight, its jungles, deserts, mountains and plains have given rise to, and support, a rich diversity of wildlife. Africa is also rich in precious metals, minerals and agricultural resources, which have given rise to the wealth of industries and nations. But this wealth has not been wholly to the benefit of the nations of Africa, as this excerpt, from a speech by Malance Bart Williams, from Sierra Leone, suggests.
One thing that keeps me puzzled, despite having studied finance and economics at the world's best universities, the following question remains unanswered. Why is it that 5,000 units of our currency is worth 1 unit of your currency, where we are the ones with the actual gold reserves?
With all its mineral wealth, plus the abundance of daily sunlight, Africa has the ability to become an economic powerhouse. And this starts with creating a unifying, global non-fiat currency, one with real intrinsic value. Introducing the African Kingdom's Lumi, a non-fiat digital currency that is underwritten by an established unit value, equating to 100 kilowatt-hours of solar energy, at a market value equal to 0.2592 grams of gold, which equates to $15 and 96 cents per AK Lumi. The AK Lumi is classic money with the following features. 1. It is a store of value. 2. It is a unit of account. And 3. It is a medium of exchange. It is interesting to note that the most valuable currencies in the world are not the US dollar or the euro, but the Kuwaiti dinar, the Bahraini dinar, and the Omani riyal. This is because these semi-fiat currencies are underpinned by a correlation between their monetary policies and their hydrocarbon-based economies. The AK Lumi, being underpinned by gold and/or renewable solar energy, thus abandons the fiat currency system altogether and establishes its value as a premium currency on the global market, whilst restoring real value to African monetary policy. On the 1st of August 2019, the Economic Community of States, Nations, Territories and Realms of the African Diaspora Sixth Region, or ECO6, was established by treaty and ratified by its member states. The ECO6 has become the second largest African institution in the world, after the African Union. The establishment of the ECO6 enables the African diaspora community to actively participate in the economic transformation, trade integration, and emancipation of continental Africa at a global level. The introduction of the AK Lumi as a single global African currency will stimulate unprecedented economic growth and the elimination of debt. As of April 2021, the AK Lumi was being used in some 142 countries, and by the beginning of 2022, it is expected that the adoption and use of the digital currency will become global. The AK Lumi will not only unite Africans across the continent and throughout the diaspora, but will also give them the financial freedom and respect that has been unrighteously usurped for too long. The economic revolution has already begun, and it will ultimately foster enhancements in business, international trade, employment, quality of life, education, health services, technology, communications and transportation. And so the goal of a prosperous Africa, built by Africans, for Africans, African Kingdom's Lumi, bringing unity, self-determination, financial freedom, growth, prosperity and the elimination of debt to all people of Africa.
Now, it is for these reasons that we are inviting all Africans, African-owned enterprises in continental Africa and those in the diaspora, 18 years and above, to register on a SWIFT platform for a free account that you can access as an individual to either become an agent or a merchant or a community, alternatively, to register as a business. In other words, either as a registered enterprise or profit or non-profit making organization, and as soon as you've registered, you qualify to receive 6.2 African Kingdom Lumi, which is an equivalent of 10 of 100 US dollars on the 28th of each month, on the 28th of each month until 2023. And there's also financial support that is available to the amount of 626 AKL, an equivalent of 10,000 US dollars, available to businesses. Importantly, there's a space that markets, but also a space that can sell your products or services. And this is an online marketplace to help Africans to transact with each other, empower each other, and build themselves up. Thank you very much, Lirato. Let me hand back to you.
Thank you so much, Mo. I think at this point, I'd like to just give the opportunity to Dr. Cheryl Chong to come up. Dr. Chong?
Um, okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to speak to my brothers and sisters on the continent. I am coming from Jamaica, but I am Minister of Family and Social Economy, responsible for moving all families into a place where they are no longer just consumers, but are producers. I am having a little feedback from somebody's mic that's open. Okay, thank you. So today I wanted to just look at a process, purpose, and how we can best use our Lumi for our individual benefit, for our family benefit, for our community benefit, and for our national benefit. We are looking at the development of local ecosystems. And later on in the program, I have invited the president of ECO6, Vice President Hugh Johnson, Vice Prime Minister Hugh Johnson of SOAD. And he is responsible for the international trading and moving produce and just about everything around the world and trading among countries and persons of African descent so that we are able to take back control, utilization, and benefit from all our resources. So that is in place. It has already started in embryo, but we would like those persons who have registered and who will register for the Lumi to start their own ecosystems. And of course, our major thrust and purpose for our training is to change the mindsets from being what we call in Jamaica foreign minded to appreciate and use only locally made items for food, shelter, and clothing initially, and then we move to the other uh, agri processing, and then we move to the other manufacturing and motor vehicles and heavy equipment and so on, if we do not yet have them. So in Jamaica, we sort of started with a bang ahead of the game, and we have developed modalities of how we can best get there quickly, and also how we can utilize the Lumi for our best interest and benefit rather than just consuming it. Every expenditure you make is meant to improve you, increase you, benefit you, and should be an investment of not just your money, but an investment of your time, which is going to bring returns. So I would just like to go through a process, purpose, and process for registering and utilizing the Lumi. First of all, the purpose. The purpose of the Lumi is to empower each person of African descent to regain their self sufficiency and control all of their assets. And this is at the individual level, it is at the family level, it is at the community level, it is at the national level. And that has got to be our initial and first intent and desire and goal. Because if we do not empower ourselves individually, then we will be at the mercy of those who are empowering us. And so we do not recommend taking loans or getting financing outside of your own sources for whatever projects, because we all know that this borrower is enslaved to the lender. And so this is why those who want to control us are always forcing help in terms of loans, grants, aids of any sort, because that is the major way of controlling any person, any grouping, any organization, and any nation. If you borrow, you are enslaved to the lender. So you do not end up determining your own decisions. You have to do what they say. And so we have decided that in the state of the African diaspora, ECO6, AKL, all the other different organizations that have come together with persons of African descent, that we will finance ourselves with our own currency. Now, the other purpose is to change the mindsets and move each African from being a consumer to being a producer. It doesn't matter the age group, from the child to the senior citizen, male and female, city dweller or remote person who dwells in the remote areas. All persons can move from the place of being just a consumer to being a producer, so that we all interchange what we produce with each other, and we will make each other strong. The producer has power over the consumer all the time. And so that is how we intend to do it. Now, there are three systems that we have to take control of in order to be successful in this goal. One, we have to make sure that we control, develop, and utilize our own health system. We all have natural health systems, traditional health systems in each country, in each community, that has been left for us by our ancestors. And we need to revert to those instead of using health systems that have been imposed on us, which are not natural to us, and therefore will not produce good health. The second system is our media and communications. We have to replace our media and communication systems with those that will inform us of our glorious past, of all the different things that have been done by persons of African descent, all our explorations. We were there first, but most people don't know that. In all our inventions, we made them all already, and in all our systems of building, systems of development, we have done them already. And all of these have been taken from us and used to develop other areas and other nations. We need to take them back for our own development. Media is very, very important because that is what determines mindsets. And of course, our LUMI, which is taking back our financial system. The world is controlled by federal banks, and every financial economy that has a federal bank is controlled by that federal bank, usually under the auspices of the IMF, International Monetary Fund, which again is not a government organization. It is a private institution. And these organizations are used by the federal bank, another private organization, to control the economies of nations. Now, in order for us to develop our own ecosystems, we need to have our own currency, which we have. And I'm not going to talk about the currency, but just what the currency will do for us. The currency will give us the economic power to invest in our own exploits and decide exactly what we want to buy, what we want to sell, who we want to sell it to, and who we want to buy it from. But this will only be beneficial if it is within our system. If we use our valuable currency to buy goods manufactured by other persons or in other currencies, then we will be defeating the purpose. However, in the building process, we will need to quickly build our productive capacities so that we will have the handle, and we will also be in control of all our initial raw materials, as well as in control of the processes that we need to get to the finished goods place. Changing mindsets and empowering each African to move from being consumers to being producers. Every person of every age, in every place. The process then needs to start with registering for the LUMI. Once we have registered for the LUMI, then we will be receiving our monthly stimulus. And that will continue until October 2023. Lots of persons may be pending, etc., but your stimulus will be coming in every month after you have registered. We recommend that you save your stimulus until it gets to a place where you can invest it to buy something that is really meaningful. However, in the meantime, we will need to develop the ecosystems where we can trade among ourselves in order to have daily sustenance of food, shelter, and clothing. After your registration for the LUMI, we recommend that you register to receive the training given by SOAD called the National and Community Training Transformation by Families. Just register and watch it, and it will give you lots of insights on how you can move from being just a consumer to being a producer, and additionally, how you can start building a family legacy. 3, accumulate your LUMI for use as investment and for the driving of your local ecosystem. Now, I would like to stop there and I am going to make my contact to see if my guest is here. I don't know if our Zoom or our manager can see if he is in the chat as yet. I'm waiting on DPM Hugh Johnson, who was to join us at 12:30.
I do not think he is here yet. So I yeah, he's not here yet. So
Okay, so would you like me to take some questions or?
yes, I think this will
Okay.
be a good segue into doing questions. So for everybody, I think we'll open up the floor for questions. You can use the chat functionality to ask any question you might have, and you can also come off mute and ask your question. Okay, I am looking. I don't see anybody that has come off mute. Just maybe also to get everybody acquainted with the infrastructure. If you are on your mobile, touch the screen, the controls for the meeting will come up and you can come off mute there. Also, on your mobile, it's called in call messaging for the chat functionality. Over and above, if you're on a computer type device, at the bottom of the screen, you'll be able to see the controls, the mute unmute button, as well as the chat button at the bottom right.
Can I just say something, Lirato?
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, we have someone who is Spanish speaking. I just want to quickly check if he can get the understanding. Um, hermano Luis, doctor Luis, están ahora invitando a los preguntas. Si tiene alguna pregunta, por favor, puedes hacerlo ahora. Se puede tocar en tu celular y hay un lugar donde se puede clicar para que puedas hacer.
Pudiera escribirla o pudiera hablarla y me traduces.
Bueno, yo te puedo traducir. He's going to speak in Spanish. I'll try to translate. Bueno, dale.
Muy buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon everyone.
Yo estoy participando desde Cuba.
Participating from Cuba.
Y estoy muy agradecido y contento por estar formando parte de esta ya gran campaña que viene siendo como muy familiar.
I'm very grateful and very excited to form part of this big campaign that is focused on building families.
En cuanto a lo que estamos haciendo en esta campaña con respecto al LUMI y a la ayuda que el LUMI presta para el desarrollo de las personas africanas y africanos en África y africanos en la diáspora.
But regarding this campaign of Lumi, where there's a possibility of being empowered economically, but also where development can be financed.
Quisiera preguntar acerca de el LUMI en el lugar, por ejemplo, es que en Cuba precisamente no está funcionando todavía el LUMI, no tenemos una moneda digital. y entonces pues quisiera saber si en momentos en que los cubanos puedan estar en otro, fuera de Cuba, en otro lugar, fuera de Cuba, por lo menos en este momento, que todavía Cuba no tiene funcionamiento con el LUMI, pues entonces si fuera de Cuba pueden entonces funcionar, operar, ofrecer sus servicios, comprar otros servicios, así.
I would like to know, because in Cuba, Lumi is not yet working, but we also do not have any digital currency. I would like to know if Cubans could be able to transact and sell their services or products outside Cuba. Is that possible? Bueno, gracias, hermano. Vamos a ver si podemos dar la oportunidad a la ministra a responder. Over to you, Dr. Chong, if I believe you got the question.
Yes, yes. I'm going to answer what I think I got. First of all, it's about the use of the LUMI to help in development within the country. Also, their general use of the LUMI, and if they are able to sell their products outside, trade with the LUMI. I don't know if somebody is there to translate to him
Okay.
what I said earlier on about the development, because that's what I'm going to repeat.
Bueno, let me, doctor Luis, yo te voy a tratar de dar la de respuesta de la ministra, pero ella en su discurso estaba hablando de eso mismo. Se puede hacer transacciones afuera de Cuba, pero dentro de la sistema de Lumi. Pero yo te voy a explicar después.
Muchas gracias.
But also
Disculpen.
indicated that I will share with him the translated
Yes.
version of your input, Dr.
Okay. Before we can do international trading of our products, we need to develop a local ecosystem of using the LUMI among ourselves.
Antes que hacer transacciones a nivel internacional, tenemos que desarrollar la capacidad a nivel local primeramente.
No, we do not need the government's approval to trade with each other in LUMI.
No necesitamos la autorización de los gobiernos para hacer transacciones con Lumi.
We need to increase the registration for the LUMI among as many people as we can, whether they are consumers or producers.
Lo que necesitamos hacer como un punto muy urgente es tratar de distribuir la Lumi a la gente nueva. Es la primera cosa que todo el mundo tiene que recibirlo primeramente.
That is the first stage, distribution.
La etapa primero, distribución.
The second stage is to start developing businesses among those who have the LUMI.
La segunda etapa es desarrollar la capacidad local para que ellos que tienen Lumi, pueden hacer transacciones entre ellos.
There is a training program to make entrepreneurs out of each holder of the LUMI.
Hay programas de ayudar a todos ellos que reciben a Lumi para que ellos puedan ser entrepreneurs. No sé qué es entrepreneurs en español. Para vender.
Yeah, producers.
Productores.
Yes, yeah, or manufacturers. Yeah. Um, so once we get that process going, then we can start selling our produce among ourselves.
Y
Or go ahead.
podemos, con la capacidad, podemos entonces hacer transacciones entre nosotros y desarrollar a otros niveles.
And whatever additional lumi we have, we need to keep and save until we have a wider circulation, not just in our own countries, but across the world.
Y tenemos que continuar desarrollando y recibiendo Lumi y creciéndolo para poder aumentar a otros niveles.
At that point, we would have been able to get into our wider ecosystems because we have already developed the smaller ecosystem.
Con esa capacidad a nivel local, podemos entonces hacer, va creciendo para tener sistemas de ecos a niveles arriba hasta que podemos entrar en lo macro.
In my introduction, I spoke about the federal banks. The federal banks will never accept the Lumi until we are more populous than they are.
Yo hablando inicialmente, yo hablo de lo que hacen los bancos centrales. Ellos no van a aceptar al Lumi hasta que el Lumi está en las manos de muchas personas y ellos van a recibir cuando todo el mundo lo tiene.
That is why the widespread distribution is very, very important. And do not wait until it is widely circulated before you start to use it. What I'm trying to say here is distribute so that we have more than the others. Then we will have total control over the circulation and the trading, right?
Por eso, lo más importante es distribuir la Lumi y hasta que nosotros estamos en mayoría que tienen la plata en nuestras manos y eso nos da el poder.
So at this time, it's not about trading. It is about distribution and accumulation while we build our individual productive capacity.
Ahora, la más importante es distribuir el Lumi para que mucha gente lo reciba. La segunda cosa es desarrollar la capacidad de poder producir a nivel local. Las dos cosas son lo más importante y urgente.
That is how we regain, as persons of African descent, our control over all our assets.
Es la forma de tener el poder en nuestra mano como africanos de nuestro assets, no sé qué cosa es assets, pero el poder en nuestras manos.
Correct. So, our objective again and our purpose is to empower each person of African descent to regain their self sufficiency and control over all their assets.
Es decir, la cosa más importante es asegurar que los africanos tienen autosuficiencia de todo lo que tienen ellos.
And then move to communal self sufficiency and national self sufficiency before we start to trade between nations.
Y seguir eh, desarrollar autosuficiencia a nivel regional, a nivel nacional, a nivel internacional entre los africanos.
So that is our objective.
Es nuestro objetivo.
All of us, independently and individually, having self sufficiency and control, making our own decisions because we have ownership.
Eso nos da la posibilidad de tener autosuficiencia y poder tener ser dueños de nuestros recursos.
I hope I've answered the question.
Espero, I believe so. I believe so, Doctor. Maybe I'll hand over back to Lirato. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that. I saw, Mzo, you were off mute. I suppose you have a question that you wanted to ask. You can feel free to come off mute at this point and ask your question. I am going to note as well Mystic Waters admin. I see you're off mute.
Uh,
I suppose you have a question.
Excuse me. I'm going to answer a call from VPM Hugh and I have to come off. So I'm going to talk to him while you take this question.
All right.
Thank you for acknowledging me. I will mute myself until you get back to me.
Okay. Mzo? I don't think we have Mzo anymore. I suppose that's back to you, Mystic Waters admin.
Thank you. Very pleased to be here, and I really, really love what I am hearing about empowering our community and the continent of our Kibaland. I do have a major concern, and that is that we cannot register our businesses in the marketplace unless we are yet still tied to the powers that be by registering, meaning we have to register our businesses with our local government, aka all that goes right back to the Federal Reserves, the colonizers, and those that enslave us under these corporation acts.
Okay,
So how is that helping us when we still have to be registered and have that BIN number in order to put our business there? I do have a business. I am not registered with them. I don't intend to, as I intend to be sovereign. I am sovereign and stand on my unalienable rights. So
yes, I can answer that. If
Go
you,
ahead, Dr.
yes,
Chong.
perfect question because we have had that question several times. Our department that deals with business registration is putting it together. You need to first register as a sword. What do you call it? Meaning that you're a part of SWOT, there's a registration on the form whenever you are registering for the LUMI. that gives you the opportunity to register on the sword. So that is being put together so that citizenship, that is what it is about. Citizens of sword can also register on our system, but our system is not yet in place. So if you do not have those numbers for the Swifin platform, you can now register without any BIN number or any company number on the Sword Lumi marketplace.
Oh, great. Can you put that link in the chat or somewhere for us or in the Lumi groups?
Yes, I will. Well, it has been sent in the past, and I will continue to send it because that particular marketplace has just put in the system for listing items by country, and the system will also say when you put in a product if it is available in your country, and if not, which countries it is available in. So we pull down the system to get that in. It is already put in, and it is still being checked before we send it out. So if you probably give us another week, we will have it out there. So you don't need a registered company to list your products, and any individual can list their products. You don't have to have a business. You can list as a business. You can list as a unregistered informal producer or as an individual. So that is our marketplace that we have been working on for probably about 4 or 5 months to get all the systems in place so that we can accept that sort of information. And I'm going to ask if our leader can request some extra time. I know we usually finish at 1, but I think Sir Hugh is on. Can you see him in the chat?
Yes, he
I
is.
spoke with him. Oh, wonderful. So I hope that answers the last person's question. And I would like to acknowledge the presence of the president of ECHO 6. ECHO 6 that started long before SWAD, and that is in charge of this whole development of Africa. And we have with us Vice Prime Minister Hugh Johnson, who is somebody who has been working in this Pan-African thing long before SWAD was conceived, and who has all the answers to all the questions that you could ever ask. He has been there before it all started. And so I turn this over to Sir Hugh now, and we ask you to greet our listeners here on Lumi Africa Summit. Over to you, Sir Hugh.
Thank you, Minister
Thank
Cheryl. May I say, though, before I greet everyone here, that a correction here.
Okay.
I think Jesus was the master teacher, and he says the half has never been told. So it would be remiss of us to think that I could ever be able to answer all the questions, because as one of our songwriters sings eloquently, there are more questions than answers. And the more I found out is the more I realize how much there is to know. And that is why a professor is so humble. The more he knows is the more he realizes how little he knows and how much more there is to know. So may I greet the honorable members of this chat room, greet you one and all, and thank you for the invitation. Under a lot of pressure, but Cheryl will never take no for an answer. And for that reason, I'm here to try my best to see if there are any questions or concerns that you might have about the organization, about where we are going, and about our program, to be able to answer them as best as I possibly can for you. And hopefully that I'll be able to do justice to the cause. Thank you, one and all. And um, I'm not sure the persons, all the persons who are on, if you understand the difference between Eco 6 and SWORD and the Lumi, because in talking to people, sometimes I realize that people can't differentiate the difference and somewhat are confused by that, not able to understand the difference.
If I may, uh, Vice Prime Minister, if you could just explain the difference for us.
Thank you. SWORD, State of the African Diaspora, was formed out of a charter by the African Union to establish the sixth region, and um, Tshisekedi, the then president of the African Union, designate Prime Minister Louis George Tin as the leader of that state of the African diaspora. His mandate was to form this body. The African Union had it on their books to be done, but for some years, a lot of persons were working, calling themselves the state of the African diaspora or the African diaspora, and therefore the need for shape to be put to it and for a structure to be put in place. Um, George Kin was asked to do that, and um, a lot of persons will ask if the state of the African diaspora is recognized by the African Union, and the answer is a flat no, because you can't recognize an intent. What was given was an endorsement, a support in document, written document, and say go and form the state. After you would have formed the state, then you can get recognition. So the process is now on for that recognition because the state has been formed with prime minister, deputy prime ministers, ministers of government, members of parliament, ambassadors, and members of the diaspora. So the state of the African diaspora is a state, um, like any other state, like United States or England is a state, or Jamaica is a state, or Barbados is a state, or Nigeria is a state. The state of the African diaspora is a state. ECO6 is an economic bloc. An economic bloc is like what the Europeans did to come together and form the European Union. The Americans, different states, come together and form the United States of America. In Western Africa, you have 14 countries come together and form a economic bloc. They call it ECOWAS. Southern African states came together and they formed SADC. Um, the Caribbean countries came together and they formed CARICOM. So the state of the African diaspora is a member of ECO6. ECO6 is comprised of nations, realms, territory, states, territories, states,
Kingdoms.
and and those states come together to form this block, economic block, on a treaty document. So they are all signatory of this treaty. So um, if that, I'm hoping that that may be able to help you to differentiate the difference between ECO6 and SWORD. Um, the Lumino is adopted by ECO6 as the currency of the economic bloc and by SWORD as our legal currency to trade. Just like how the US state have their US dollar, or the English state have their pound, or the European Union have their euro, there is a common currency that ECOSIX and SOAD use, which is the Lumi. And let's hope that would have given you a clearer understanding of how those three entities interact among each other.
Thank you so much. That's Crystal. Um,
Thank you. You're welcome.
I think we are still in the Q&A portion of the session. So I think we must take advantage of the opportunity of having the people that we have, the caliber of the people we have on this call, to ask any questions we might have. And I think looking in the chat, I see Nelly has asked a question around if there's a guide on how to register and pay for the NetFem training, uh, I suppose. And then there is a question from Nomatemba around, I know that there are companies taking the Lumi in Swaziland and would like to know if there are any companies taking the Lumi in South Africa, and would be happy if we know a place that can make our Lumi known to South Africans, that it is really working for all Africans. I have paraphrased that question, so um, yeah. Um, I think if I may, just in terms of the recording, we can share a recording. Dr. Chong, do you want to speak about the payment for the NetFem training?
Okay, the NatFam training is you have to be registered for the Lumi. So we recommend after you've gotten your first stimulus, you take 3 Lumi, and there is a link that I keep sending out, and I'll send it again into this particular chat, where you can just click on the link and it explains and outline and gives testimonials of people who have gone through it, etc. And then it gives you the opportunity to register. So you can click either $55 or 3 Lumi. And if you click 3 Lumi, it takes you straight into the Swiffing platform, and you are now able to pay the 3 Lumi. Now, when it asks the question about what currency is in your area, do not put your currency. Just put 3 Lumi, because that's the currency that you're using. Now, persons have been going in and putting 55, expecting the Lumi platform to convert it, and it doesn't. So while that may happen for other transactions, you just enter 3 Lumi and immediately the payment is made, because remember, it's a real-time payment. Now, once the payment is made, within 24 hours, your whole course, it's 7 3-hour sessions, 3 hours on each topic, is sent to your customer email. When you register, you have 2 emails, a payment email and a customer email. And if they are different, then your course will be sent to your customer email within 24 hours. You can go to your email and you don't have to download all of it. You don't delete your email, just go back there anytime you would like to watch the course, because it's such a long thing that you can watch the first session and put that into practice, and then you watch the next session and then you put that into practice. However, we are recommending that as many people go on and register before the 9th of August, when we start a new set of workshops, which you will get every week. So try, and if you're not registered for the Lumi, try and get on by the 27th of this month, so that you will have your Lumi in place to utilize it. I just want to make one um, comment here. If your account is pending, you will not be able to use your account. Your money will be constantly put into the account, but you will not be able to do any transactions until it is off pending. So you can make arrangements with somebody else if you would so like to. This is a private arrangement to advance you the Lumi to pay for your course until your account comes off pending. But that's just all private. But we start our workshops on the 9th of August. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think a question for His Excellency Vice President. The member states of CARICOM also member states of ECO6, and to be exact, is Jamaica both member of CARICOM and ECO6?
Um, the, 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 the answer is yes. The state of Jamaica is not, but territories within Jamaica, like the Maroon territory in Jamaica, is. And I should let you know that the UN sanctioned four indigenous groups in Jamaica: the Rastafarian, the Kumina, and that's a religious group, the Maroon Kumina, um,
Revivalist.
the Revivalists,
And I think maybe the Taino, I'm not
and,
sure. Taino, Taino.
and the Rastafarian.
And right.
So any one of those persons, because there's a difference, and it should be noted that there's a difference between Jamaica and the island of Jamaica. The island of Jamaica has more than one sovereign um, settlements. So those are, I think, of the indigenous set, only the Maroons are signatory. The Rastafarian they had applied, but they there are certain requirements that they aren't able to fulfill as yet, and we are working on that to get them up to speed because you must have a formal structure to be able to be a member of. You can't just say you are indigenous and be a member of ECO6. There are certain requirements that you must fulfill in order to be so designated. Um, but I would love to know the majority of these persons on the call, which country they are from, because the essence of our coming together and the promotion of business development is for us to develop our own ecosystem within our own local. Um, as it has been widely promoted and said that the average black community, a dollar only circulates in there for 6 to 12 hours, while in the Chinese community, it will stay for 28 to 30 days. Um, that sort of ecosystem need to be established in our community for generational wealth creation for future generations. So, as it relates to the Lume objective, if you have 1,000 persons within your community who has their Lume wallet and have their money in the Lume wallet, we are encouraging doing business among yourself. Um, I am a taxi operator within the sphere. There are needs for transportation. The taxi operator is encouraged to accept from his passenger Lume. The shopkeeper is also expected to do that. The farmer who has his produce that you need to consume should be able to accept the lumi for his produce. And when the barber go to the farmer go to the barber to cut his hair, the barber is willing to accept the lumi and vice versa. So it is for us as individuals to encourage, develop that ecosystem within our own local and then spread it abroad. Because understanding the principle that each of us is just a microcosm of the whole, it is what we do in our one, in our heart, in our family, in our community, and in our country. And if all of us brighten the corner where we are, illuminate that light in our corner, the whole world will be enlightened and glow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think one of the last questions I will take here. How long does it take to finish the course, Dr. Chong?
Thank you. The course is actually a 3-year course. The first year concentrates on development of family in 7 different areas: health, agriculture, business development, and several other areas. But each month we do one topic. So it's 7 topics. So the reason why we're starting again is that we are doing the workshops. August we'll be covering healthcare for the whole family. September we'll be covering planting seed gardens and food forests. And October we'll go into value added products. November we will go into import substitution. December we will look at financial intelligence, so that you know how to make money quick, fast, and keep it. And January, we will look at your purpose for being created on earth. Why were you created? To be a solution to something, every individual. And once you have all that other stuff under your belt, you can't waste it. You have to fulfill your purpose for being created. And then in February, we will look at your contribution to the national development of your country. And then the second year, we'll start again. We have a break in March, and then April, we start again with another 7 months. Now, this is when we look at all the community projects together based on the same topics again. And then in the third year, we go again, take a break, and another 7 months. We will look every month at how we consolidate the health system in the whole nation, so that everybody in the nation is using our local health system and kicking out that stuff that has been sent into poisonous. And then the second month, we look at national, so that the whole country is full of food forests. So we cover our food security for generations to come. And we go along that way. So it is actually a 3-year program, but it's a month by month. In the first 7 months, we look at family development. Second 7 months, community development. Third 7 months, national development. And this is why I'm saying we got to look at our nations first. If each nation is strong in itself, supported by its own citizens, then nobody can come from outside. Not another nation within our group or another nation without our group can in any way infiltrate us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Chong. I think I will just ask everybody on the call if you can just head over to the chat and just upload, or rather, just mention the country, the province where you are joining tonight's session from. That would be awesome. I think going into the session on, or rather, the question on where the merchants who are already trading in Lumi. More, I know you have a couple of things on that. Do you want to take that one? Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Lerato. Just to quickly speak to that question, we definitely have people who are already um, trading in South Africa, in Lumi. However, the exercise of extracting them is still ongoing. The only thing that we want to also do in this space is to try and showcase some of them. And for an example, already we've got Wanaka Estate Guest House in Eswatini, Southern Africa, and they are offering accommodation that is in Lumi, 3.7 AK Lumi per night. And food is still not available in Lumi. They are located in Malinza, 7 kilometers away from Kim Mswati, the third international airport. We also have a company that is selling teas, coffee, and capsules that are made out of baobab. It's a product from South Africa. This is already available at 150 to 200 per packet, depending on what you're selling, or zero point 0.9 AK Lumi, but it's selling 50-50 Lumi Fiat. Can I proceed? Yeah. Now, this space is reserved for you to give us your promotion that you are availing, even if it's professional services that we will showcase here. Send us a WhatsApp as we collect this data. Now, if Lerato allows me, I would like to make the only announcement that we have the next summit coming next on the 25th of July. We've got the third summit where we will still be building on what has started today. Now, the flags that you see there are the countries that have been coming to our meetings. If your flag is not there, please give us a chat, warn us, and we'll leave our number on the chat. Thank you very much. We are present on social media. How to make Lumi work for you is a question answered by lumi.africa/Lumi City. We are on Facebook, Africa Lumi Digital Currency. It's a closed group. Please ask to be a member. On YouTube, if you search Vanto or Pare Lehunyana, you'll see the work that we are doing, including this meeting. Even this one will be uploaded. We are also on WhatsApp and Telegram. Thank you very much. Lerato, I hand back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mo. I think I'm gonna ask if His Excellency and Dr. Chong can do some closing remarks prior to just giving over to His Excellency, Vice President. I will just looking into the chat. I see Vanto from Cape Town, South Africa, Priestess Y Love from Brampton, Canada, Timothy from Nigeria, Nelly from Eastern Cape, South Africa, Yolisa, Eastern Cape, South Africa, Walter from Lagos, Nigeria, Yolisa, Eastern Cape, Nigeria, Mapallo from Lesotho, Ariel from Velgedag, South Africa, Louis from Cuba, and more. So just Lydia from Northwest South Africa. Okay. Just on that note, I'll just hand over to you, His Excellency Vice President, for any closing remarks, parting remarks.
Sir Hugh, we would like to have your closing remarks, please.
Hello?
Yes, may we have your closing remarks?
Well, all I'll say here is it's not a sprint. This whole journey that we're on is a marathon. And be prepared for the long haul. That comes what may. The chain will not break where we stand. Because it's a chain and each of us is a link in that chain. Challenges will come, difficulty will come. But if we stick to it, comes what may, and determined by God's grace, we shall overcome. And see this overcoming as the liberation of our race, that no more will we be trodden under the foot of men, but to live as princes and princesses where we rightly belong. So may I thank you for your time, and thank you for your dedication and your commitment to this cause, hoping that together we shall sing, home at last, home at last. Thank God we're home at last. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister Dr. Chong.
Thank you so much. This has been such a rewarding time because we have learned so much and we have been motivated to make sure that we just recognize the challenges are there to make us strong. And so we have a goal and we are well on our way to the goal. So, like Sir Hugh says, make sure that the chain does not break where you are the link, but just hold on, do our best, and God will help us to get to the end result that we need. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think important things to highlight that the next summit will be happening on the 25th of July, 1900 South African Standard Time. Please do the conversion. And I think in the interest of everybody on the call, I am just going to ask that we probably have the summit happening for an hour and a half, because that seems like more of a doable time, so that we can have enough time for questions and answers. I know there's still a couple of questions and answers that we'll need to go through, especially just trying to unpack everything that the minister shared with us tonight around the media, medicine, and finance. I think those are really critical areas that we need to really unpack individually one by one. But over and above, the building of the ecosystems in our localities, so that we can grow from there. So on that note, just want to thank everybody. Just make a note that in the chat, Moa has put in his contact numbers for anybody that would like to ask any particular questions. And just saying, please prepare questions for next week's summit so that we can actually, as quickly as possible, delve into the questions and get the answers that we so needly need to go and run this race that is set before us. On that note, I want to acknowledge all the excellencies on the call, and thank everybody that is on the call tonight, and appreciate your time for coming out and engaging. And on that note, I will then adjourn tonight's session. Thank you so much, and good evening, good day to everyone.
Good
Thank
evening.
you, and bye bye all. Bye bye, everyone.
Yes, shalom, shalom. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much. Good
Cheers.
evening to everyone.
Good evening.